Most people think money is about freedom, but to Machiavelli, money was something deeper. It was power, but not because of what it could buy, because of what it could expose. He believed money didn't just make people rich, it showed you who they really are. Today we chase it, flaunt it, worship it, but still feel weak. Why? Because we don't control money, money controls us. We work for it, we stress over it. We lose sleep, loyalty, and love because of it. But Machiavelli would tell you this: money is not the goal, it's the tool. And if you don't learn how to use it with strategy, it will be used against you. So today, I'll walk you through 13 rules of money. Not how to earn it, but how to control the power behind it. Simple, cold, and life-changing. Rule 1. Money doesn't give you power, it reveals who you really are. Money doesn't make you powerful. It just shows the world who you already were, deep down. If you were insecure before, money just makes you a louder version of that. If you were weak, money makes you reckless. If you had discipline, money gives it weight. That's why you see people change when they get rich. Not because the money changed them, but because it removed the mask. Machiavelli never respected wealth for the sake of luxury. He respected the strategy behind it. Because money isn't the goal, it's the amplifier. Think about it. A man earns more and suddenly becomes arrogant. A woman inherits wealth and instantly starts treating people like tools. A young guy makes millions and starts buying things to look smart, not to be smart. But the truly powerful, they don't need to show it. Their presence speaks louder than anything they own. Their energy makes people adjust without saying a word. That's the Machiavellian lesson. Don't chase money to feel powerful. Chase power through discipline, reputation, and structure. Then let money become the proof, not the source of your strength. Because there's nothing more pathetic than someone who has money, but no respect, no presence, no voice in the room unless they're spending. Money doesn't create kings. It exposes who should have never worn a crown in the first place. So before you get rich, build the character to carry it, or the money will own you, not the other way around. Rule 2. Show your money, lose your power. Today, everyone's showing off. Watches, cars, brands, bank balances. They think being loud about money makes them look powerful. But to Machiavelli, that wasn't power. That was a weakness, exposure. Because the moment people know what you have, they start calculating what they can take. They start planning how to get close, copy you, or destroy you. You just handed them the map. True power moves in silence. The smartest players don't brag. They build quietly. They make money, stack it, hide it. And they let people guess what they're really worth. Because when no one knows your true strength, no one knows where to strike. Machiavelli would say, if your money is the loudest thing about you, you've already lost. Because now, you're not just rich, you're a target. So what does a Machiavellian do? He lets people think he has less. He drives the modest car, wears the simple clothes, smiles while people underestimate him. Meanwhile, he owns the building they work in. He controls the flow of money behind the scenes. And when it's time to move, he strikes from a place they never saw coming. Let them doubt you. Let them think you're average. That's how real power works. It's not about impressing people. It's about staying hidden until it matters. So next time you feel the urge to show off, stop. Ask yourself, do I want attention or do I want control? Because you can't have both. Silence builds kings. Loudness builds targets. Rule 3. If you don't control the money, you don't own it. Most people think if they earn money, they own it. Wrong. If someone else can freeze it, cut it, or take it, You're not rich. You're rented. That's what Machiavelli feared the most: dependence. Not poverty, not struggle, but needing something from someone who can pull the plug any second. Ask yourself this: if your income stopped tomorrow, would your life collapse? If yes, you're not free, you're controlled. You work at a job, one email, and you're gone. You rely on one client, one mood swing, and it's over. You depend on a platform, one policy change, and your success vanishes. That's not wealth, that's a trap. Machiavelli would say, never let your survival depend on another man's decision. So what does a Machiavellian do? He builds multiple streams. Not just income, independence. Silent businesses. Sets in the shadows. Cash flows that don't rely on being liked, praised, or noticed. Because once you're independent, everything changes. You say no without fear. You walk away without panic. You don't beg, explain, or adjust. You decide. Even better, when others depend on you for money, you don't need to speak. They self-censor. They chase your approval. They fear losing your support more than they desire anything else. That's real power. Not just having money, but being the reason someone else gets theirs. Build that. Because if you don't, you'll spend your life working for someone else's dream, while they decide your fate. Rule 4. Money will always reveal loyalty. People say they love you. They say they're loyal. They say they'll never betray you. Then money enters the picture, and suddenly their true face shows. Machiavelli didn't trust words. He watched what people did when money got involved. Give someone a raise, they become arrogant. Offer them power, they forget who helped them. Make more money than them, and they start hating you silently. Because money doesn't change people. It exposes who they already were. Here's how a Machiavellian tests loyalty. He doesn't ask questions. He gives people opportunities and watches their behavior. Do they stay humble or act entitled? Do they support you or start competing with you? Do they show gratitude or suddenly feel like they deserve more? The answers will tell you everything. That's why you must use money strategically. Not just to buy things, but to study people. Give, but watch. Support, but stay quiet. Offer value, but always observe what it does to their ego. Because fake loyalty dies fast when envy wakes up. Machiavelli would say, do not trust those who smile in your rise but burn in your success. So don't fear losing people when you succeed. That's when the real ones stand out. And the rest? Let them go. Your wealth is not for approval. It's your mirror. Use it to see who's real and who was only clapping until they thought they were being left behind. That's how you protect your empire. By knowing exactly who's sitting inside your walls and who's planning to climb them. Rule 5. The weak chase money. The powerful control it. There are two types of people in this world. Those who want money, and those who understand that others want it and use that desire to stay in control. Most people chase money like it's oxygen. They talk about getting rich. They dream of cars, watches, houses, vacations. But Machiavelli would laugh. He didn't chase money. He studied what it did to people. He saw the truth. The one who gives the money controls the behavior. That's why kings didn't argue. They distributed gold. That's why modern leaders don't fight, they fund. You want to be powerful? Stop begging for checks. Start thinking like a builder. Ask yourself, what can I create that people need? What skill can I develop that gives me leverage? How can I go from asking to being the one people ask? Because here's the truth. The one who pays doesn't chase. The one who owns the table doesn't beg for a seat. Once you control where the money flows, people will adjust themselves to stay close to you. They'll obey without being told. They'll stay loyal without contracts. They'll try to please you not because they love you, but because they need you. This is real wealth. Not income, not luxury, but power that moves silently. Machiavelli knew the truly powerful never brag about being rich. They build systems, they watch patterns, they make people dependent and stay untouchable. So don't worship money. Control access to it and watch how fast the game changes. Rule 6. Let them think money is the prize, while you take the real power. Most people are busy chasing the wrong thing. They run after the check. They fight for promotions. They dream about titles, trophies, and applause. And while they're distracted, Machiavellians stay calm and quiet. Because they know money is just bait. It's the trap, not the treasure. You don't need to be the loudest. You don't need to win every deal. You need to understand the bigger game. Let them chase the spotlight while you build the stage. You see, real power isn't in the money. It's in the structure. The one who owns the system never has to beg. Let others fight over raises. You focus on becoming the one who writes the paychecks. Let others argue for a seat at the table. You focus on owning the building. Because when people think money is the reward, they'll keep running in circles while you slowly build the walls around them. Machiavelli would say, don't compete, don't complain. Position yourself. Build value others need. Make yourself hard to replace. Then sit back and watch people come to you. Not for love, not for friendship, but for access. Because when you control the thing they all want, you don't need to force them. They'll force themselves to stay close to you. That's real strategy. That's power without noise. And once you learn to use their desire as your leverage, you'll never have to chase again. Rule 7. Use money to create comfort. Then control the fear of losing it. People don't fear being broke. They fear losing comfort. Once someone gets used to a certain lifestyle, the car, the apartment, the respect, they'll do anything to keep it. That's where real control begins. Machiavelli understood this. People will work harder to keep what they already have than to gain something new. So the smartest move isn't to scare people, it's to give them comfort. Just enough success, just enough approval, just enough access. Then slowly, make them feel like it can be taken away. You don't have to yell. You don't have to threaten. All you have to do is delay a reward, go silent, or shift your attention. Let them wonder if they've lost your favor. That uncertainty, it drives people mad. They'll work harder, stay loyal, even betray others, just to stay in your circle. Not because you forced them, but because they've tied their identity to the life your money gave them. This is how empires were built, not through war, but through salaries, gifts, and symbols of status that could disappear at any moment. So don't give people comfort to be nice. Give it to see how far they'll go to protect it. When someone feels they have something to lose, they stop thinking clearly. They obey faster. They apologize sooner. They self-correct without being told. That's how you create quiet dominance. Not with fear, not with pain, but with the fear of going backwards. Because once they've tasted comfort, they'll do anything to avoid hunger again. Rule 8. Rich people aren't respected, they're measured. People think money earns respect. It doesn't. It earns attention. And attention isn't power, it's a test. Machiavelli saw through the lie most people believe, that if you show people how rich you are, they'll admire you. But in reality, they start calculating. They don't see your watch, they see how much it cost. They don't admire your lifestyle, they look for cracks in it. They don't praise your power, they measure how to take it. The poor admire wealth. The powerful analyze it, because real players don't care what you bought. They care how exposed you are. If you need to show your success to feel powerful, you've already lost. Machiavelli would never parade his wealth. He'd let people guess. He'd stay quiet, disciplined, and controlled. Because the less people know about your money, the harder it is to attack you. The flashy rich man attracts envy and enemies. The silent one, he attracts confusion and fear. The key is this: never show people how much you need their approval. Never give them a map to your insecurities. Be rich in discipline, not display. Be powerful through mystery, not noise. Let them wonder how you move. Let them question how much you really have. Because once people can't measure your value, they stop trying to challenge it. That's how you protect your throne, not by flaunting your gold, but by making them doubt how deep your empire really goes. Rule 9. Real power is walking away without fear. Most people fear losing money. Why? Because their identity depends on it. They think, if I lose this income, who will I be? If I lose this job, how will people see me? Machiavelli would call this emotional slavery. Real power begins when you can lose money and stay calm. Not because you're careless, but because you know you can build it again. This is the most powerful move in any situation. To look someone in the eye and say, without a word, I don't need this, but you do. That's when they chase you. Not because you're richer, but because you're free. The moment you stop needing approval, deals, or validation, you become dangerous. Most people will do anything not to fall behind. They'll stay in toxic jobs. They'll beg for raises. They'll sell their values just to keep their lifestyle. But the Machiavellian, he's different. He's built his life in a way that allows him to walk away. His strength doesn't come from luck. It comes from structure. Multiple incomes, no emotional debts. No identity tied to money. He doesn't panic. He pauses. And while others beg, he decides. When you reach this level, you don't chase money. You use it. You don't get emotional. You get strategic. Because the real game isn't about being the richest. It's about being the calmest when others are desperate. And once people feel that calm in you, they'll start playing by your rules, not theirs. Rule 10. He who controls the flow controls the game. Machiavelli didn't trust titles, fame, or loud wealth. He watched closely, not for who had the most gold, but for who decided where the gold goes. Because real power doesn't belong to the richest man in the room. It belongs to the one everyone depends on. You can have millions and still be replaceable, but if you control the flow, the systems, the structure, the spotlight, people orbit around you. Not because they love you, not because they admire you, but because they need you. That's the power of positioning. You don't just want money. You want to be the one who signs the checks, who approves the budget, who gives access, and can take it away. And here's the twist. Once people depend on your approval, you don't need to argue or explain. Your silence becomes pressure. Your delay becomes power. Your absence becomes a warning. That's why kings weren't just rich. They were gatekeepers. They built systems where people fought for access, not just attention. Machiavelli would say, don't try to be liked, be needed. When you control the flow of money, you control the flow of decisions, emotions, and direction. People will self-censor. They'll flatter you. They'll adjust their behavior not out of fear, but out of dependence. And once that happens, you're no longer chasing money or respect. You're setting the frame they live inside. That's real financial power. It doesn't scream. It shapes reality, quietly. The end game. Power without noise. So now you understand. Money isn't just numbers in a bank. It's not about big houses or fast cars. It's about how you move, how you build, and how you make others move without a single word. Machiavelli never chased riches to feel successful. He studied how money controlled behavior, exposed weakness, and shaped the world quietly. And now, so do you. You know that real power doesn't come from being rich. It comes from being unshakable without money and dangerous with it. You build wealth without needing applause. You give without losing your position. You move with intention, not to impress but to stay in control. You've stopped seeing money as a finish line. It's now your tool, your filter, your weapon. And the moment you stop needing it to feel powerful, you become someone no one can control. The room listens when you speak, but it obeys when you're silent. Because now you don't flex wealth. You embody it. You don't run after opportunity. You design it. You don't prove anything to the world. You let the world adjust to you. And that's the final law of Machiavellian money. Stay quiet, stay structured, stay in position. Let them wonder how you did it. Let them whisper how you made it look easy. Let them feel the pressure, not from your voice but from your presence. Because when you reach this level, you don't chase wealth. You become the source of it. And in a world ruled by illusion, the one who understands money rules everything.